football in particular and sport in general is a great outlet for mental health. I think not only the physical well-being but mental well-being as well. I think it's a way to interact with people. You meet friends, you're talking, you're exercising, you're out in the fresh air. All of the things that you have to that help towards good mental health, I think. From a personal experience, I went through a very traumatic loss when I was 41 years old, and I was I had 2 children to bring up.
I think I've struggled with anxiety for a long time. Even whilst I was playing sport, I really struggled with it. I don't play as regularly now. I coach, which I love, and that's the bit that I found really helps me in terms of controlling my anxiety. But I think there are a lot of other people who struggle with it that maybe don't make that known, or they're not sure what it is or why they're feeling like that.
So for me, it's been a really challenging 2 years, and it's hard to talk about still. As you can see from my voice, my mum passed away, and really after that there were 3 or 4 massive events. So my wife's mum passed away, my wife's dad had a stroke, I was made redundant, my dad suffered after my mum passed away, so it just all came at the same time, and we're just coming out of it now.
Yeah, I mean, in the last couple of years my marriage broke down, so I had a little bit of a struggle with that.
Perhaps the year before the lockdown came along, I experienced a few challenges in my own world, and my day job, I'm a sort of a peer supporter, so what was quite, not ironic, but where I was trained to look for signs of mental health, I thought I did it to help others, which I did, but then I started recognising traits within myself. So through the training, I recognised perhaps I needed a little bit of assistance. I would say I'm still building. I think one of the things that I was a bit naive about is being fixed quick. And counselling for me is really kind of educating me around it's not a break to the arm that will get fixed in 3-4 weeks' time. It could do, but it also could be a long journey. And once I kind of realised that, it got better for me realising that it will take time.
So obviously I still struggle with mental health to this day. There was a point where I had severe depression, severe anxiety, alopecia, and I really couldn't cope.
I'm looking back myself over perhaps my journey, and the people I've contacted around my support have been football. There's 2 individuals that are in my head, and I've met them through football. So I think it just also gives an opportunity to have that chat to one another after a game, before a game, during a coaching session, as well as the physical benefits of playing.
Yeah, I think football's massive for mental health and well-being. I think just coming together and having that vibe of being around people and being comfortable just talking, and that team building and that sense of belonging and self-worth and feeling part of the team.
Football saved me, there's no question about that. It was an outlet for me. It was something I could concentrate my mind on, still get that exercise, but it kept me together. And football, I've no hesitation in saying football saved me and saved my children. So it's a very important element to me, and I've immediately recognised the mental health benefits of being involved in clubs, in teams, in sports. I was a referee, so you think referees are sort of a lone warrior, if you like, out there, but getting back out refereeing again for me was the most important thing.
It gives people a sense of a place to go, a sense of belonging, and gives them just a bit of an identity.
For me, going along to the football every week and talking to children and adults who have massive issues in their lives, and then for me to be in a position that I'm really struggling, but then to have that outlet to be able to talk to the football family was for me was really, really important. and it stopped me having a proper breakdown. But then it's also given me that background to be able to talk to people about it.
So like my role's predominantly around getting males playing football again, and so like a lot of my work at the moment revolves around like you sort of like over 35 males, which are obviously more at risk of suicide and that sort of stuff. So we've done a lot of like recreational stuff, just getting people playing and enjoying things. Also do a lot of stuff with older adults and walking football, and again some vulnerable groups there that we get playing and enjoying football. And for me, when I play like stuff like this, I love it because look forward to get up in the morning. It's like you're a kid again and going to play in a tournament, and you get everyone's happy. You're here with your friends, you have a laugh, you have a joke.
I think like the main thing is communicating with others, and just talking and knowing that people actually listen to you. And one of my coping mechanisms is exercise. Really, is just getting involved in any sports, even walking, cycling, and just trying to stay positive and live in a positive way, and just going about day to day in a positive manner. And there was a time where I was very negative and I almost felt like I was in a hole. It's basically, sometimes you get those days where you go back in that hole, but it's always remembering you've got those tools such as exercise and music and just communicating with friends, family, that will get you back out of that hole and get you back on that positive mind state, really.
It's really important for me, especially with, we're working from home a lot more, there's a lot less routine and structure to what's going on. Making sure I set times during the day or during the week that I'm going to go to the gym, or I've got football training, is really important for me. I think when I've had a period of time where I haven't done that and I haven't kept to my routine, that's when I tend to struggle and I tend to feel not so good about myself and don't want to go out and see people as much. But when you've got that routine, especially when physical activity is involved in it, it really helps.
I think during like challenging times, it's just finding what helps the individual best. Like for myself, it was just knowing that I had someone to communicate with, and knowing that even just someone just sending me a text, and just speaking is huge, and just communicating and knowing that it's okay to ask for help, and there is help out there. There's people that want to help and people that want to make a better community and a better place for us all to live. So I would say like number one is communication, and not being afraid and taking that risk.
Give yourself that time where you know that you're going to just focus on yourself and your physical well-being for a period of time, so that you're not worrying about emails coming in or meetings. So having those times where you can just sit back and work on you is really important. I think it's about, especially for me, I found that having coaching where you're planning things for players, you're really thinking about other people, you're going to be at a certain place throughout the week, and there's a lot of structure to that, and I've spoken about structure a lot. That's really important to me, and that helps my anxiety a lot. So that works for me, but it might not work for other people. For other people it might be they have to be playing all the time and they have to be involved in that. So I think it's about finding what fits for you and using that as a coping mechanism, I suppose.
Talk to people, I do understand, because I was probably in the same situation where I didn't feel like I could speak with other people because I was keeping it in, but then of course that weight on your shoulders just gets heavier and heavier and heavier. And I think speaking with people, even if they're not actually necessarily giving you advice, but maybe just getting things off your chest, which is why a lot of these charities and organisations are actually here to help and support. However, in the first instance, I would always say just communicate with people, because sometimes one chat can make you feel a million times better.
I think the key thing is like active listening when you first hear about it. Try and understand a bit more about the situation. It might be someone's just having a really down day and there's potentially not a lot else. It might be that things are really serious. We're trying to get that information and flagging that up, passing it on, I think is the best thing to do, because we're mental health first aiders, but we're not experts.
I work in health insurance, so there's a good employee benefit EAP, programme, and through that there was counselling, and I used that, and that helped me through those times, and I'm now in a much better place. So yeah, talking about it really does help.
Within myself now, I feel a lot happier. I lead quite a positive life, and just I always try and maintain positive, and those thoughts in my head are now positive.
I think mental health awareness is something that's really growing. So before it was a big taboo subject, and I think it's brilliant that it's no longer that taboo, and it's something that there's people out there to help and support.